This is a Pinnacle how-to video, and this particular video is focused on file grouping. This video will provide a step-by-step set of instructions on how to group raw files in a particular workbook. So when you open up Pinnacle and you come to a default, the default window, you can input many different files for any of our different workflows. And in this case, for antibody screening and quantitation, if we click on that particular workflow, we have a couple of options. The first thing is you establish your knowledge base by importing a FASTA raw file or a FASTA file, or you can copy and paste protein sequences. Then you can load in your raw files, and in this case, you can load in as many as you want. In this particular example, we're going to have 6 different raw files, and there are 2 technical replicates per group. And there are 3 different groups, as shown here by the keywords in the file name, control, the sample treated with hydrogen peroxide, and then at high pH. And linking the keywords to a particular group in the file name becomes very easy and automated in associating raw files into the particular groups, as we'll show in this particular video. So I've already processed the data, and it would, once you've processed the data, it's going to look just like this. So in our FASTA file, we have the heavy chain and the light chain of a particular IgG. And you can see here it defaults into showing this view. So once we've brought in the raw files and processed them, it does not automatically group it because we have not provided specific group names. And the gel view, or the Western blot view shown here, just simply gives us a relative abundance of all peptides associated with a particular protein. So the first thing that you're going to do is we click on a particular protein, and this now gives us, in this table here at the far right hand side, all of our individual file names. So the first thing that we're going to do is click on Redo Grouping, and so now we're going to have a new window. And in this particular window, the first thing that we're going to do in this window is under here where it says Group Names, we're going to click on this window, get a new window, and now we can type in our individual group names separated by commas. And again, for this particular example, we've got 3 different group names: Control, pH 8, and H2O2. And again, we type in Control, comma, H2O2, 2, and pH 8. And again, the key thing that we want to do is utilize the group names, or when we acquire the data, have these specific keywords in the particular file name, because this is going to automate the process. So when I click Done, you can see that each one of the individual raw files now is associated with its particular group. So it's automatically done and placed into our particular groups. If you wanted to go in and manually change these, once you've entered in the group name separated by commas, each individual raw file row will have a drop-down menu, and you can manually select which group that particular raw file belongs to. Once you're done with this, you have to click Apply. And so now at the very bottom, it will update all of your raw files and place them into the appropriate groups. It will also calculate then the percent CVs, ratios, if this is what you're interested in. And it will take, again, we've got 6 files, and it takes less than about a minute. But now we have in our particular sort of view over here, we have our 3 individual group names. We can change the order of any of these particular groups. If we wanted to put pH above hydrogen peroxide, we simply highlight this particular row, go to our pencil, which is the Edit, and we can click up. And now we can, let me just hit Apply, and we can say OK, and it will update once more, and it will change sort of the order from which you're going to display all of your individual data. Okay, and so now we have our data shown here. We can also change this view from group view to file view and go back to our 6 different files. And again, you could do the same thing by changing the order of any of these particular files. And what this now does is once we've created the group views, we now have over here into our particular proteins. If we expand out to show all of the particular peptides, we will see not only up here at the group view we have this gel plot, and I'm just going to resize this, but we also have an average for this particular protein in the group view. And each of these three would be the average of our 2 technical replicates, and the order again is control, hydrogen peroxide, and pH 8. When we go into the actual peptides and we go through the file ratio view, these first 2 Western blot or bars would represent the first 2 technical replicates for control, the second 2 would represent for hydrogen peroxide, and the last 2 would be for pH 8. So the order for each of these individual bars in our Western blot view to give us a quick overview of the relative abundance are again based on the arrangement that we've selected in our group view. And we can again resize this just a little bit, and we can scroll over. So for each of our peptides we get the file ratio view so we can see what's happening for each individual file. And then we can scroll over and we can get to also seeing the group view. So we can see the average views as well. And you can change these order or the column arrangements by grabbing the headers and then just moving them. So we can actually place the group views right by the file view so we can get an overview. So we can see what's happening on individual files as well as the average response. And we can quickly view what's actually going on for each one of our peptides for this particular sample. And that ends this particular help video on file grouping.